Doing great. It's always fun to come in here after a game like that. We had a lot of guys step up and play some of their best football of the year. I think Coach has already alluded to that, but some of the guys that didn't show up on the stat sheet per se, but played a big role. I think it started with the offensive line. They did a heck of a job protecting for us in protection. We knew that was going into the game. That was the style that we want to play, and they came through in a big way. That was a good front. That was a good front. They have good pass rushers. They got good players across the board, and for the most part, the pockets were very clean. And then our wideouts, they made some really big catches for us, and of course we saw Saints on third down. He had a bunch of them, but I mean unsung heroes like Khalif Raymond. He only had a couple catches, but both of them were really good outside of his framework catches to keep us on schedule, and that was what allowed us to be efficient in that game. And when we're efficient, then we can score some points. So it was encouraging to see that from our unit, and hopefully we can continue that here for the next 5 weeks.
You received a lot of praise from Jared Goff yesterday. He even went on record and said this is, I feel like, the best stretch he's been playing in his career right now. Man, when you hear him saying that and knowing, the relationship you guys have, what does that do for you, man, to let you know that you're moving in the right direction?
Honestly, I don't hear it. I think he and I both know, feel really good about our relationship. I'll say that. That's been a constant really since he got here a year and a half ago. And so my role, and this has been me as a coach over really since I got into it, as a graduate assistant and kind of worked my way up, is to support the people around me and try to help them be the best versions of themselves. So for a long time, that's been supporting the coaches around me, and that's still the case. It's just now my role is a little bit more hands-on with Jared, and that same philosophy continues. Just how can I help him, put him in the best positions possible? That's all.
You expect Jameson to have an increased role, just the more he practices, the more he's part of it, the more he learns, gets his legs under him. Do you expect that to incrementally increase every week?
Yeah, I hope so. I don't know what that means necessarily for the rep count, but it's encouraging to finally get some opportunities to hook up and practice, both in routes on air and in competitive periods, because that chemistry, as we talked about last week, that's critical. That's big. Knowing where he's going to be, what the top of his break's going to look like, so our quarterback can anticipate that throw. That goes a long way.
You didn't have much film on him, right? I mean, 6 real snaps, but how do you sort of evaluate what he did, if you can even evaluate it, and more importantly, I guess, like how he feels now coming into
I think the intent was to I mean, shoot, he hadn't put on pads and gone through even pregame warm-up, and so a lot of that was just getting your bearings, and now that you got that under your belt, now we can progress forward from there. So, no, within those number of snaps, it's hard to say one way or another, but it's a good starting point for him. I don't even think he was very pleased with his play, but that's good. That's a starting point, and just like every player, we're looking to get a little bit better each week.
8 possessions, 8 scores, 40 points. We know your profession is very much about chasing perfection. So when you go back, how do you balance, you did a great job versus you've got things, I guess, to nitpick and correct?
No, it gives us a great opportunity to coach hard, I think, because you can feel good about yourself. Hey, we had great results, but at the same time, there's plenty on the tape that we need to clean up if we want to continue to produce. So that's the encouraging thing is we can get after our guys a little bit. And even that first drive, we got the turnover and we took it down for a touchdown, but there was a number of things within those first few plays that we really gotta get that nipped in the bud real quick here, because that'll come back to hurt us. But you saw it. I mean, when our guys make plays, when our playmakers make plays, it'll mask a lot of things for us, and that's the challenge that Coach set out for us last week, and those guys answered the bell.
Is something more rewarding about a performance like that when it isn't like based on a ton of explosive plays? You just kind of steadily move down the field in these long drives that take up a lot of time off the clock as well.
No, I love explosive plays. It's like after every drive, we've got one of our young coaches. He'll say, "Hey, that was a 15-play drive or a 12-play drive," and I'm like, "You know what's better than that? A 3-play drive, a 2-play drive that ends up in the end zone." So, no, I mean, every week we're on a quest to find more explosives, and when you play a game like that, and it's about efficiency as opposed to explosives, you got to be good on third down, and that was probably our best all year that we've been on third down. So we were able to stay on track, and it worked out for us. But all of a sudden, if we're not quite as good on third down, then playing that type of game isn't nearly as good for us. So.
Sam Brown on third downs. I mean, I don't know if you can design every play with him in mind on third down, or maybe it just seems that way. But the trust that you have and that Jared has in him, and those sort of got-to-have-it situations, maybe you can just speak to that and how important that is to some of the success that you guys have had.
Yeah, I think it's been it's been fun to watch his progression since he got here over a year and a half ago, and truthfully, I really think he's playing like a top 5, top 10 receiver in this league right now. He generates separation on a weekly basis. I think he's very hard to cover. We're trying the best we can to keep defenses guessing a little bit of where he's going to line up, but he does a lot of things himself. You know, that catch he had over the middle of the field, and then he bounces back up a few plays later. I mean, it's that's elite. Not many guys have that level of toughness, the hands, the breaks. I mean, it's a complete package, and boy, are we happy to have him.
One of the explosive plays was to DJ. I'm just wondering how you see him building off of that performance and moving forward here the last stretch of games.
He kind of had a feeling that was going to be a big game for him, you know, knowing who we're going against, and that's a challenge every week is to have that kind of production for him. But no, it was awesome. He's another guy that made huge catches, contested catches, both on the deep ball, and then the one that Coach challenged was a heck of a grab by him as well. So I think now that he's gotten back from this injury and he's shaken that away, the confidence level is just going to continue to rise.
What's the atmosphere like around here? I mean, it seems like guys have been having just fun playing football, especially on the offensive side. You know, when you're working with guys and they're in that groove, the confidence is there. Just what is it like coaching that? Like, even on your side, when you got guys that are playing confident, playing this way?
Yeah, it's fun for us too. You know, it's I've been on the other side of it. I've been on the other side of that type of game, and it's hard to come back in the building time and time again when that happens. It's a testament to our head coach, you know, everything that he's built, the foundation that he's built. I think our assistant coaches do an excellent job of championing his cause. And, I mean, they bring the energy, they bring the juice. The success we have on offense, a lot has to do with them. And, you know, I think the players resonate with that. You know, our guys do a great job coaching them up. And yeah, no, it's fun to come to work every day right now. There's no question.
I'm sorry. I'm curious when you talk about DJ, and you're not the first guy to say like you had a feeling he was going to be up for that game. You know, he did a good job downplaying himself throughout the week, but you know, you coach these guys to be level and no matter what the circumstances, former team, loss, whatever, to be the same guy. How do you go about, I guess, as a coach, bottling that energy that you sense with a guy against a former team and get him involved in a game plan and you know, not making it bigger than it is at the same time?
No, it's a challenge because this is such a emotional game and truthfully a momentum-driven game because that's what happened in that last game. We got a little momentum early from the defense and we kind of took off with it and just never let it go. But that, I mean, those emotions, they play a huge part of the play, and that is the challenge that we have, is trying to remain consistent throughout it all. The ups and the downs is just staying level-headed. I think Coach Campbell does a great job of that, preaching that to the staff, and the staff preaching it to the players as well. Just staying as level-headed as we possibly can, no matter the situation. As things get hectic, the heart rate goes down. You've heard that one, and so I think that applies to what you're talking about right now.
You got the flip side of the nature thing this week when you guys are facing Hockinson. I'm sure this game is circled on his calendar in some way, shape, or form. I'm just curious how much have you stayed in contact with him and something like that still?
Yeah, I've had a hard time. I have a hard time keeping in contact with anybody right now. I'm a poor husband and father at the moment, but that's a different story. No, I haven't. I haven't talked to him. I talked to him right when he got traded, and sent my best to him. I do try to take a look at his snaps, or at least his targets each week, just to see how he's doing, just to remind myself. But I haven't had a time to talk to him. I'm sure he's equally as busy as he's getting involved with them.
Something that'll be big for him.
I don't know. No, I don't know if he's gonna make it anything bigger than what it is. I'm sure he's gonna feel a certain type of way coming back into Ford Field, but it's a good question for him.
One more on Ahmed Roth, if I can.
Yeah.
Dave asked about the trust, that him and Jared have, and I think you mentioned the third down. But I'm curious, is there something special about him or his game that makes him so effective on third down in particular? Because the numbers are pretty preposterous at this point.
Yeah, I don't even know what those numbers are right now. I think I told you, to me, it's hard for defenses to take away a slot receiver. I really do believe that, especially with how much we move him around and try to generate some matchups for him. But just his skill set, it is unique. He is well built. He's strong. He's got quickness. He's as good as anybody we have on the team, getting in and out of breaks to create separation at the top of the route. So, no, it's awesome, and he's got elite hands to go on top of it, so he can make some contested catches also. So it's a fun little toy to play with as we go into the game plan session.
And I just had a quick question. Do you feel like that was a sweet spot usage for DeAndre this last week against Jacksonville?
Yeah, each week's a little bit different. But it was good to see him get a little higher rep count and get the ball in his hands, and he made some plays for us. Did a nice job. So we'll see what this week holds.
Just a quick question on
Yeah.
throughout the week, how much does the game plan morph as you talk to Jared, or does it start out like this and then it kind of gets tweaked, or how do you get to those explosive plays?
There's a lot of tweaking throughout the week. We'll start with a core, on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and by the time we get to Saturday and Sunday, there'll be some new things popping up. I've been in places, and I think Coach Campbell's the same way, where Saturday night walkthrough or even Sunday morning, there's 5 new plays that pop up out of the blue that you didn't even get a chance to practice, but you feel really good about. So we're not afraid to do that if, as the week goes, we feel like we want to trend a certain direction, which I think is the right thing. Sometimes you don't know early in the week maybe who you have available, who they have available, or how you want to fully attack them. But like I said, Coach always has a great vision at the end of the week there, and we know offensively, defensively, and special teams wise how we're going to attack the opponent.